Welcome to week 8 of Teachings of the Living Prophets. Now this week we will be going over a couple of general authorities that I think we have had an opportunity to not only get to know through general conference, but in many cases some of you may have had a chance to meet them. Elder Russell and Nelson of the Quorum of the 12, as well as Elder Oakes. And as I think about these two brethren, these are two examples of men that are extremely accomplished in their profession and individuals that have made great sacrifices in order to be called to the Quorum of the 12 and to be able to serve. As many of you are aware, Elder Oakes, a member of the Utah Supreme Court, and Elder Nelson, just a world-renowned surgeon. And so both of these individuals with wonderful careers and wonderful exemplary lives. As I think first off on Elder Nelson, some of the thoughts that come to mind for me as I watch him is the kindness that he exerts as a member of the Quorum of the 12. He has daughters. He understands the importance of honoring womanhood, and you can see that in his life and the things that he does. But also what amazes me about him is so many cases in the world, as individuals become more and more knowledgeable, they become less and less dependent upon God. It's the opposite with someone like Elder Nelson, who has stated that men can do little of themselves to heal sickness. And here is a world-renowned surgeon saying this. And then he goes, but with God, we can, as you remember from his biography, with God we can do much. He understands our interdependence on God, and he understands the fact that science is true when it's aligned with the true principles from God. And the more we are aligned, the more we understand the role of God in our lives. And you can see that in Elder Nelson's whole life, as he has served as a surgeon and seen miracles and been able to not only perform heart surgery on President Kimball, but on so many others. And through his faith and through his partnering with God, he's been able to do so much. And so he is so different than so many medical professionals who believe more and more that it's science and our understanding of the human body that enables us to heal and not God. I really appreciate his kind, gentle attitude. I also greatly appreciate the firmness that he exhibits sometimes in his talks as well. But as you think about Elder Nelson, he is truly one of the great examples in our days of what it really means to serve. His service began early on in his life, and with his family, with his profession, and now obviously as a member of the Quorum of the 12. Elder Oakes, on the other hand, comes from a much different background. The things that I really appreciate with Elder Oakes is how he stands up for religious liberty, how he stands up for some of the hard things that our church has to discuss in society. As you saw last General Conference, as he talked about the priesthood, and what a landmark talk that was in helping us understand the role of the priesthood and the role regarding women in the church. And so as we talk about this, as we talk about traditional families, as we talk about the understanding of maintaining religious liberties, it's Elder Oakes that takes the flag and begins to address some of the really difficult problems of society. You see him tackle pornography. You see him tackle same-sex marriage. He's the kind of individual that has a way to speak with authority, yet speak really how the Lord address these things. And it's his mind, it's his absolute sharp mind as a member of the Utah Supreme Court. You saw many instances in which his ability to direct legal issues in law, it definitely helps us understand, how he operates. Years ago, I was able to go to Nauvoo and to Carthage, and it was there that Elder Oaks had just written a book, The Carthage Conspiracy, and he talked about all of the things that went wrong in the legal system as individuals tried to try Joseph. And from there to a discussion that he has had on the Savior's, the role of the Sanhedrin and the Pharisees in judging the Savior, and how that was done against their own legal system. He was able to really address those. And so these are two very unique brethren, very accomplished brethren. And as I think about them, they are two examples of individuals who have had trials in their lives. In both cases, they have lost their spouses, and yet they've been able to demonstrate the eternal nature of the Abrahamic covenant, of celestial marriage, and yet be able to move on from those experiences. And so, again, it's a reminder to me that trials are not individuals who hold high offices in the church are not immune from trials. In fact, many cases they are given more trials in order for them to be able to become stronger and to overcome. So as I look at these two brethren, I'm grateful for them. I hope as you read about them, you read not only their biographies, but you listen to their testimonies, you read their conference talks, you understand what they have talked about, that these will be brethren that you will gain a much greater appreciation for not only who they are, but the lives that they've lived. Again, I look forward, as always, to hearing from you this week and to be able to converse with you on the things that you've learned. And I hope that you have a wonderful week.